absolutely. I mean, AJ, a lot more limited.
Of a lifetime for those guys. There must be guys looking at the draw and thinking they respond to having a big opportunity to really go deep.
A lot of power, though.
This as well was the other one, so very good point. Duong Hoang hasn't been to a big semi-final yet, but he's been in some big quarter-finals. And he's off to a decent start in that quest. AJ Manas.
Really doesn't. Surprised he's taking this. Now, he had more. Nice, hit it super thin. Like, what's the kid's name from Germany that's so, which is a different kind of. Definitely ready to be out here with the big boys, I think.
Yeah, play. It's everything else about them, the way they play.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, didn't get the sharp man, sharp young man.
Very good player. And he's leveled in the early stages of this match.
So this is a more comfortable way to play the ball here in Telford. It's really awesome weather, and maybe a hair bouncy because of this or that, but no complaints this week. Players in a better mood. Everyone feels better about things when the weather's so nice. Now this shot got. Yeah, I thought it was missable. He tried to attack without.
Dean Shields from Manchester, who of course beat him in his home country at the Hanoi Open back in October, 10-8. And it was the other way around this time. Duong coming through 10-8. And here he is in the last 32.
You know, fully, and just take your chances leaving something long here or so, but I think he's back and he's better. And a great shot there with that down. And that kind of field are the type of players to one of these majors.
Yeah, he was quite as early an exit as it will be in one of these events, because it was only a 16
here. Round. He was in a few battles to survive. Has a lot of talent.
And someone who you might have made him favourite against, Imran Majid. Duong off to a very good start. 2 drawing ones in a row for DQH. Ado only went down 10-9.
I think all of us can take from this young man is stress about all shots and when intense between the ears, which definitely affects the back arm.
Yeah, and it has passed, and it's reflected in his manner around the table and the way he plays. Duong not getting away with the dry break this time. AJ Manas closes to 1.
Yeah, this table's been awfully stingy on the one. I always felt like Comino had, of course, being younger and years, but I also like that player that doesn't mind showing how upset.
Yeah, they have a different thing with names in Spain. It's something to do with.
Yeah, a bunch of youngsters playing in this round, of course. Game's getting younger.
Glides around the table, and Duong sort of ambles around the place a little bit, almost like he's not really easier than we know it certainly is. And this has been a good start from Duong. Exploited it just as much as he did in the opening rack, and so we now have multiple racks in it for the first time in the contest. Duong's lead is 4-2.
Sam Henderson, good shout out to him making that final 64. Constantly building on that game. I know he didn't have the match he wanted. See a combination of really good fundamentals and a lot of talent between Duong and Manas.
Beaten Braben by 10 racks to 6. Now faces a very interesting clash with the tournament favourite Joshua Filler.
Yeah, and hats off to Tyler. A lot of people doesn't seem like there's a mistake in him at the moment, Joshua Filler, but we'll see how it unfolds.
Steyer's one of those guys who, if he was playing team sports, he'd be a fan favourite, because you know he's always going to go out there. It means so much to him.
Yeah, and he's, you know, in a team sport, especially a pro sport, there's players that always get questioned. Oh, why are they starting? Why are they on the team? Why are they players that they play with understand that role that they play and they bring every time? And Tyler's kind of one of those, and that's why to me, and Unless someone shows otherwise, he's a hard guy not to pick for that Mosconi Cup team. Boy, he got odd here. Can he get enough on it to move the cue ball out? Oh, sweet stroke. Elevated over the 9. That one will make you feel good.
And he's now completed the first half of that task in very impressive fashion. And with his first break and run, indeed the first break and run from either player, Duong goes 3 clear. He starts us off again, leading 5-2.
So should just cross this over, try to run the cue ball behind the pink. Double kissed it, may fluke it. The top cushion, that's why. Kind of lost the mark on the shot itself. Miscue, it sounded like. Gap at the 3 here. Definitely has a piece of it. And so may have a direct look. And he's so good when he elevates the cue. It's amazing, really.
How many times did we say that during the Reyes Cup last year? We kept pointing to that particular strength of his.
Sachet around the table, but I'll tell you one thing he does better than most is he stays real still when he elevates that cue, and that makes a huge difference on success. To put all the heat possible on this young man of AJ Manas, and it's got to be that way just because I kind of feel like Manas has the mentality, I don't care what the score is, as long as I can get to the breaking end, I can make up a lot of ground quickly.
Yeah, Duong was one of the stars of that Reyes Cup week in Manila back in October. He won both of his doubles and one of his singles. He actually had a chance to clinch the cup for Asia. Chance to get Asia to the magic number of 11, but he lost to Shaw as well and fell to MVP Aloysius Yap to clinch it in the next match against FSR.
I feel like Team Asia kind of corralling around this man at the table right now had a big part on them. The camaraderie they showed for this man here really helped that team to an easy win.
Yeah, they were 4-0 up in that opening team match. Europe came back to win 5-4, but that in no way set the tone.
Duong got the one down on his last. Nice. I think figured out the speed a little better, and he's going to get a look at the blue too, and a good look it is. Very natural position to come up for the 3. So.
And almost went further. He was only beaten Hill by Mark Boisterbosch.
Yeah, it seems like every match that week at the Spanish Open was Hill.
Put us all through the ringer because, as you recall, that venue was so hot. Wanted to punish us by keeping us in there as long as possible. But it was a great tournament, won by Dang Jinhu. Double bill, of course, with the World Cup.
Yeah, I tell you, those events, and Lugo is a beautiful city. I mean, just, it was easy to stay there anyways, but sometimes you have back-to-back events. It can. This angle shows us he's got even more going towards the 7. That's just a beautiful shot. You talk about one that is high there. 7 does pass the 8, so no real issues.
Yeah, he had those couple of quarterfinals year before last, but didn't really build in 2024 and didn't go any further. That was at the US Open. SVB actually ended his run there. But he's already at a quarterfinal this year at the European Open. On this form, who's to say what he might do here in Telford this week, because he's playing really well, and with his second break and run in the last 3 racks, Duong has pushed his lead out to 7-2. Duong in total control. And as you said, JJ, Manas the sort of player who, if he can get a foothold, can turn this around. And maybe it's going to come here. Well, maybe not.
If he hits underneath it, he feels like the 1 is wired to the upper corner off the red 3. Yeah. Very good experience beyond his years, this young man.
Starts to turn this around here.
overcut the 2 to the pocket suspect. Now he's got to do something. The 4 doesn't pass. So he's coming across for the combination.
Well, this would be a very nice way to start the comeback. A quick kill. And AJ Manas finally stops the rot. He'd lost 4 in a row before that. But the combination for the first time as he started a big comeback. Was 7-2 down, but he has just taken rack 10. But needed to build on it with the 1 in the side.
I hate to say it, Michael. I don't think these guys are getting the... He's going to elevate, so he's going to draw to the side cushion, trying to kill the ball bit for the 2. Wants to fall here underneath it. Why is it? Okay, looks like it's just going to stun. He's going to need a friendly bump. I think he'll get it.
You always do.
6-9, 3 rails to the center of the table. That actually lays pretty decent. Like this. Speed control's very ideal. Not getting too thin, but also
well, this is turning into just about as good a display as we've seen from anyone on the main table next round, because he played Torsten Homan twice during that run to the quarterfinals in Sarajevo back in March, beat him in winners qualification, and then after Homan had come through on the loser side.
I've had my eyes on Thorsten several times this week, and I really like what I've seen. Always plays steady, I mean, but I just feel like he looks really comfortable. Playing a good shot on the 6 there, by the way. Coming 4 rails for position on the brown. Just
so Manas' attempted comeback has been stopped in its tracks very quickly there. He's going to have to start another recovery now. Duong breaking with an 8-3 lead. He's made the 1.
Q. If you happen to miss the bank, so he's just going to kind of nip this behind the 3. And we're on taking.
On the flip side, of course, it will be so hard to take if he loses from the position he was in.
Probably pretty obvious. Now he's got to draw the cue balls, so shouldn't be a problem. An easy miss ball. Duong.
He's just about through.
Watch out for the 9. If it clips the 9 the wrong way.
8-9. Claim the last 32 spot here in his home open.
He's going to get this 8-9, and tell you what else he needs to do. He needs to
Single elimination. Both now been eliminated following the defeat earlier today for defending champion Robbie Capito.
A huge shot there from Duong, especially after missing a pretty easy. After making that miss, a lot of players easy to maybe want to draw that, make the make a little easier, a little more comfortable. I have to play this on the side if I have to. Perfect here. He'll just go 1 rail between the 8 and 9. Just
so as I said, 2 players who've really made a name for themselves to one extent or another on the World 9-Ball Tour. At this and expecting a close one. Not looking so likely now. Killed this as a contest.
yeah, really. I mean, besides the break shot, which has cost Manas 2 scratches, of course, that you can't always predict, some dry breaks, but glaring mistake. It's just been exceptional pull by the Vietnamese star.
And that is now 6 of the last 7 racks have gone in his favour. He just needs one more to advance. Duong begins the rack, which may well take him through to the last 16. About as well as we've seen him play. He's been out on the main table.
Hasn't been, he's escaped now. There's only been a couple of those. It hasn't been some type of continuous luck. It's been awesome play to get to this 9-3 score. And in return, this is what AJ has given up, you know, when he has had.
From here, Duong Hoang has just basically controlled the match.
Yeah, we've had a few scores like this today, but not performance, and maybe hair of fortune at the right time. Oh, okay, got it down. He finally missed the ball. But
16, the last remaining last 64 match has just been completed. Max Lechner winning that hill finish against Hoang Sao. Lechner, another player who has yet to win one of these big matchroom titles. It's no surprise to see the name Duong Hoang, British Open in 23, the European Open already this year. But perhaps the way he's playing here,
he finally gave one up. Didn't expect it there, but 3 victory, but AJ still got a chance.
as we were beginning to pen the last rights for this match, Manas looks as though he's going to extend it here. Duong has done very little wrong in this match. He did something wrong there though, and he's paid the price for it. So Manas keeps it going. It's 9-4. Here in Telford, it's all about the UK Open this week. AJ Manas is battling to stay in it.
Pushing out to some type of real first shot with the draw stroke. Hard to get enough speed on the one a lot of times. Real well unless he catches the point. Yeah, just a little light. Pure stroke there to draw off the 6. That was a very heavy contact on the 6 also.
Previous rack, couldn't quite get the job done then. Still some way off that happening for Duong Hoang this week, but if he can continue to play like this, who's to say it won't be his time.
Just one more task really here on the 4. 2 rails for the 5. Got enough speed. It's got to go a little bit. Yes, it is.
He's looked very in control of his game. Yes, there was that lapse in the previous rack, but it was very much at odds with what we've seen from him throughout the day. But hold on, what's he done here?
Yeah, as soon as he hit it, it seemed like too much speed, and now I don't think this is really cuttable. Undoubtedly going to draw the cue ball. This is short, so AJ still got line.
For the second rack in a row.
Yeah, it's going to hold up. So Duong's going to get a pretty easy shot at the 8 to finish this match.
As I said, I think we expected a close one here, and it looked as though we were going to get it when Manas was only one behind at 3-2. Friday at these events is all about claiming one of those coveted last 16 spots, and the first of them has gone to Duong Hoang. He defeats AJ Manas by 10 racks to 4. He's through to the last.